we go. Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night here at the BT Network, and that means it's time for Political Ketchup. It's our weekly roundup of anything, political. And boy, we got plenty tonight. Anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddball Extreme. I'm currently joined online by two of my crazy cohorts. First, below me is our master and creator, Frodo. Hello, Frodo.
What up, motherfuckers?
And to my left, we have a resident man from the Bronx, Sajo. Hello, Sajo.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? And even today is also a mayor election for New York City.
Mm-hmm. At least the primaries, anyway.
Yeah, the primary, yeah.
Yep.
I'm wondering, should we kind of watch that a little bit for the mayoral stuff for New York? I don't know what's going on over there.
Well, I mean, right now it's only the primaries, so we don't know. It's
Yeah, it's a ranked choice vote.
Yeah, so right now
You have to rank your five choices. Yeah, whoever ranked most gets a 50% wins the primary. It takes like a week.
Yeah.
It takes like till July 1st.
Okay. And if they don't have someone making 50%, the top two get into the runoff.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the eliminate, and then the winner is
the winner is either the Democratic nominee or the Republican nominee.
So right now, based on what we have, information we have on CNN, estimated vote in is about 87%. And right now, Zoran Madami is leading 43.6% to Andrew Cuomo 36.2%. Both are Democrats.
Yeah, one is the Cuomo, the moderate Democrat, and Madani is a progressive.
Honestly, that's kind of where I think it should go. So yesterday we mentioned about the fact that the U.S. attacked Iran, and I hate that. I hate that they did that. I despise that we're now involved in another war because a Republican president has too small of a fucking penis and doesn't like the idea of being disrespected or told he's wrong by anyone. So we're now looking at another war. And the attacks that we launched now, based on early intel, looks like the bombs that we used did not destroy the nuclear sites, according to CNN. This is an exclusive from them. And Shirley, I'm going to copy this link and put it in the chat so that you can grab it.
Okay.
Little thing. Hold on. I'm going to do one small thing. Sajo, can you delete that thing we were discussing in the... You got it? No.
Hold on.
Do that. There, I put it in a private message for you, Shirley.
Okay.
I deleted it.
Okay, good.
There, that worked. That worked perfect. Okay, got it.
So, go if you want to read this. This was updated at 7:13 Eastern time.
Okay.
Right now it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, so about 3 hours ago.
Yep.
6-minute read, so go for it.
All right, so here we go. All right, exclusive. Early U.S. intel assessment suggests strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites, sources say. So here we go. The U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back by months, according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment that was described by 7 people briefed on it. The assessment, which has not been previously reported, was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Pentagon's intelligence arm. It is based on a battle damage assessment conducted by U.S. Central Command in the aftermath of the U.S. strikes, one of the sources said. The analysis of the damage to the sites and the impact of the strikes on Iran's nuclear ambitions is ongoing and could change as more intelligence becomes available. But the early findings are at odds with President Donald Trump's repeated claims that the strikes completely and totally obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth also said on Sunday that Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Okay, now if I can get my mouse to work, here we go. 2 of the people familiar with the assessment said Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was not destroyed. One of the people said the centrifuges are largely intact. Another source said that the intelligence assessed enriched uranium was moved out of these sites prior to the U.S. strikes. So the DIA assessment is that the U.S. set them back maybe a few months, tops, this person added. The White House acknowledged the existence of the assessment but said they disagreed with it. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told CNN in a statement, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community." Boy, that's real mature. Not. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. The U.S. military has said the operation went as planned and that it was an overwhelming success. It is still early for the U.S. to have a comprehensive picture of the impact of the strikes, and none of the sources described how the DIA assessment comes to the view of other agencies in the intelligence community. The U.S. is continuing to pick up intelligence, including from within Iran, as they assess the damage. Israel had been carrying out strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities for days leading up to the U.S. military operation, but claimed to need the U.S. 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs to finish the job. While U.S. B-2 bombers dropped over a dozen of the bombs on 2 of the nuclear facilities, the Frodo fuel enrichment plant and the Natanz enrichment complex, the bombs did not fully eliminate the site's centrifuges and highly enriched uranium, according to the people familiar with the assessment. Instead, the impact to all 3 sites, Frodo, Natanz, and Isfahan, was largely restricted to above-ground structures, which were severely damaged, the sources said. That includes the site's power infrastructure and some of the above-ground facilities used to turn uranium into metal for bomb making. The Israeli assessment of the impact of the U.S. strikes also found less damage on Frodo than expected. However, Israeli officials believe that the combination of the U.S. and Israeli military action on multiple nuclear sites set back the Iranian nuclear program by 2 years, assuming they are able to rebuild it unimpeded, which Israel would not allow. But Israel had also stated publicly before the U.S. military operation that Iran's program had been set back by 2 years. Hegseth also told CNN, "Based on everything we've seen, and I've seen it all, our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. Our massive bombs hit exactly the right spot at each target and worked perfectly. The impact of those bombs is buried under a mountain of rubble in Iran. So anyone who says the bombs were not devastating is just trying to undermine the president and the successful mission." On Tuesday morning, Trump repeated his belief that the damage from the strikes was significant. "I think it's been completely demolished," he said, adding, "Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit." Asked about the possibility of Iran rebuilding its nuclear program, Trump reported, "That place is under rock. That place is demolished." While Trump and Hegseth have been bullish about the success of the strikes, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane said Sunday that while the damage assessment was still ongoing, it would be way too early to comment on whether Iran still retains some nuclear capabilities. Pardon me while I drink some water because my mouth's drying out. There we go. Republican Representative Michael McCall, the chairman emeritus of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, would not echo Trump's claims that the Iranian program had been obliterated when pressed by CNN today. "I've been briefed on this plan in the past, and it was never meant to completely destroy the nuclear facilities, but rather cause significant damage," McCall told CNN, referring to the U.S. military plans to strike Iranian nuclear facilities, "but it was always known to be a temporary setback." Jeffrey Lewis, a weapons expert and professor at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies, who has closely reviewed commercial satellite imagery of the strike sites, agreed with the assessment that the attacks do not appear to have ended Iran's nuclear program. The ceasefire came without either Israel or the United States being able to destroy several key underground nuclear facilities, including near Natanz, Isfahan, and Parchin, Lewis said, referring to the ceasefire between Israel and Iran that Trump announced on Monday. Parchin is a separate nuclear complex near Tehran. These facilities could serve as the basis for the rapid reconstitution of Iran's nuclear program. Earlier today, classified briefings for both the House and Senate on the operation were canceled. The all-Senate briefing had been moved to Thursday, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Two separate sources familiar told CNN the briefing for all House lawmakers has also been postponed. It was not immediately clear why it was delayed or when it would be rescheduled. Democratic Representative Pat Ryan of New York said on X on today that Trump just canceled a classified House briefing on the Iran strikes with zero explanation. The real reason? He claims he destroyed all nuclear facilities and capability. His team knows they can't back up his bluster and BS. As CNN has reported, there have long been questions about whether the U.S. bunker buster bombs, known as massive ordnance penetrators, will be able to fully destroy Iran's highly fortified nuclear sites that are buried deep underground, particularly at Frodo and Isfahan, Iran's largest nuclear research complex. Notably, the U.S. struck Isfahan with Tomahawk missiles launched from a submarine instead of a bunker buster bomb. That is because there was an understanding that the bomb would likely not successfully penetrate Isfahan's lower levels, which are buried even deeper than Fordo, one of the sources said. U.S. officials believe Iran also maintained secret nuclear facilities that were not targeted in the strike and remain operational, according to two sources familiar with the matter. And that's the end of the story.
So, I'm going to go on a little bit of a explanation here.
Okay.
Bunker buster bombs are designed to direct a lot of force down into the bunker. Mm-hmm. They are not designed to completely in best case scenario, they can theoretically absolutely destroy something that's underground. That is not a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
30,000 bombs, aka 15 tons, is quite a bit. I'll admit that.
Mm-hmm.
15 tons is about the equivalent of I think it's an Abrams M1 tank being pressed down on one single point. Mm-hmm. And that's what they want. That's what you want in that kind of thing. The problem is that, as far as we're aware, the ordnance used in the bunker buster is not always going to be 100%. Okay? Now,
mm-hmm.
what are they made? This is the next question. The massive ordnance penetrator, MOP, was operationally used for breaching and destroying weapons of mass destruction located in protected facilities. It's a 30,000-pound bomb with 6,000 pounds of high explosives. They are big, okay? Your weight for these is 13,600 kilograms, aka 30,000 pounds, and the explosive payload is 6,000. What it does, because of how it's hardened, when dropped by a B-52 stealth bomber, the bomb is designed to strike locations that require significant penetration, such as hardened and deeply buried bunkers, tunnels, and facilities. The bomb can penetrate up to 200 feet into the ground. That's 60 meters, by the way. Wardlow, which is the deepest facility, is estimated to be at 80 to 90 meters, aka 260 to 295 feet below the ground. And The problem is that we don't really have a way to guide the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you have an explosion, what happens? It expands out rapidly in all directions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If we had the technology to direct that explosion, it'd be great because then you could use an MOP and drop it down it, and do some damage. The problem is the edge, the the hardened shell is only capable of going X amount of distance into the earth. Like I said, that distance is about 200 feet, give or take. Um, there are some varieties of the bunker buster that I have heard of that are getting some special ordnance in them.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, there's some that talk about adding DU to the explosive package, which
What?
would add
Wait,
what?
stop. What is DU?
I'll explain that here in a moment.
Okay.
Um, and that would theoretically increase the yield of those bombs. However, DU is one of those substances that not many people like to deal with.
Oh.
DU is a term is the uh is the term for depleted uranium.
Oh, okay.
Okay, basically it's uranium that's been used in like power plants and such, and most of its fissionable um capabilities are gone from it. And because of how dense uranium is as compared to say, oh, I don't know, lead, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, lead on the periodic table of elements. Hold on 1 second. I'm pulling up the periodic table so I can give you an exact number here. Lead is number. I'm looking here. Give me one moment. God, I'm blind. PB is this chemical symbol for lead, and that's what I'm looking for here. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
there it is. PB is 82 on the periodic table. Okay, that means each atom of lead has 82 protons, which makes it a pretty potent, a pretty dense material. Because the more particles you cram into a small space,
Mm-hmm.
aka an atom, it's what makes things hurt. So like lead bullets hurt a lot because they are so dense. Uranium, on the other hand, even depleted uranium is number 92 on the periodic table.
Hmm.
It contains 92 protons and 238 total particles in the nucleus of the atom. What that means is it's approximately 25 to 30% more dense uranium is
Mm-hmm.
than lead. The second most dense material we have is a substance called osmium. And while it you'd think it would be less dense because of the fact than both lead, and uranium, osmium has some weird properties, but it's number 76 on the periodic table with 190 total particles inside. So, yeah, osmium's a different beast, but it is very dense. It's also got a melting point of 3033 degrees centigrade.
Mm-hmm.
And like, Shirley, I'm gonna give you the website where I'm getting this information. There's actually a fucking periodic table on the web so that we can find this shit out.
Okay.
But like, density of osmium is 22,590 kilograms per meter cubed. Your density of lead,
Whoa. Huh.
what?
No, I just got blown away by this periodic table.
The density of lead is 11,340 kilograms per meter cubed. And then you go to uranium, and that's 19,050 kilograms per meter cubed.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we don't use osmium as like bullet material or weaponry material is because it's not very, there's not a lot. I mean, it's not the rarest element,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not a lot of it. And you don't want to use something that is used in industry, because osmium also has, like I said, its melting point of 3033 degrees centigrade. Some of the materials you can make for out of osmium actually have a smaller melting point and are used for and are used in the way to how can I say this? Are used to have you ever thought about what's inside of a sprinkler when you have like an actual sprinkler going out, and why it melts so quickly? It's because it's an uh osmium alloy.
Oh, I did not know that.
So we use osmium more for safety
Mm-hmm.
than for destruction.
Right.
Okay, and it makes sense. But when you look at like mercury, for example, or hell, I'll even go straight to one that everyone knows is very hard and dense, but it's also incredibly brittle. And that would be titanium. Let's see, where is that? Where is that fucker? Okay,
Where's that mother?
yeah. Uh, Tungsten is another really dense metal at 19,250, but you don't want to use that for
Tungsten, isn't that what's used in like what was used in like the incandescent light bulbs?
yes, because its melting point and boiling point are ridiculously high. For example, the melting point of tungsten, and the reason I'm gonna do this is for a reason, but the melting point of tungsten is 3,422
Ooh, wow.
degrees centigrade. So titanium is also a very hard metal, but it's nothing compared to the stuff we're talking about. The density of titanium is 4,507 kilograms per cubic meter. So you can kind of see the reason why we use lead, why we use depleted uranium for weaponry, is because A, it's super dense, B, it it is capable of concentrating a lot of force into small places. But the problem comes down to, I mean, we could go plutonium, but that's super fucking no. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, biggest thing you gotta remember is the metals we use have a reason to be used. And osmium isn't used, even though it's fucking crazy strong, because of its other uses. Like, if you look up osmium in on Wikipedia, which I'm doing right now, it's a hard brittle. There's the problem with using osmium as ordnance. It's brittle, which means that when you shoot it out of a bullet, out of a out of anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's more likely to shatter as soon as you uh fire it than it is to go and hurt someone. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturers use alloys of osmium with platinum, iridium, and other platinum group metals to make fountain pen nib tipping, electrical contacts, and other applications that require extreme durability and hardness. And it is one of the rarest elements in the Earth's crust, making up only 50 parts per trillion. That's not a joke. So, as much as osmium might be better, it's also.
Hmm.
So, anyway, getting back to what we were primarily talking about, the whole Iran thing. I'm I'm gonna say this without disrespect towards the people in the people who are in the military. This was a stupid attack. I'm gonna be frank about it. It was dumb. It really was. It was a stupid attack. It wasn't a good attack. I I'm not a fan. Anyway, Shirley, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
So this part right here, or just anything in general.
To this part right here for
I
me.
mean, I last time I did the periodic table was way back in high school, so
Yeah.
it's like, wow.
Yeah, I try and keep mental notes on a lot of stuff I learned in high school because you never know when it's going to come in handy.
Yeah. Well, I would always have trouble remembering, which element was what number. So, because there's so many to remember. I love this one. Fluorovium, number 114.
That's one of the transuranites.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and go to another story. I'll be back.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find someone had posted something where one congressman was having a face off with RFK Jr. Let me see if I can find it. RFK. Let's see. No. find it. No, not that. I know I saw something where he had a face-off with someone in Congress. I think it was today. But if I could just find it. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it. Bear with me, folks. I know I saw something. I just gotta find it. Let's see. No. Nope, that's not it either. I know I saw it. I'm not crazy. I just gotta find it.
Sorry about that.
They're fine. I'm trying to find something where RFK had a face-off with somebody about vaccines, but I just can't remember which group it was.
Yeah, RFK. I'm sorry, but in the pantheon of idiots of the White House right now, RFK stands as a fucking figure upon himself. I mean, seriously, this guy thinks that we have to do more research on vaccines. Last I checked, polio doesn't exist anymore because of vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
Smallpox doesn't exist anymore except for one small vial in a couple of what do you call them? Research labs because of vaccines. Which, by the way, if that ever got out, that would be pretty much devastating because we don't get smallpox vaccines anymore.
Right. You guys are there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I just
Oh.
disconnected for a second because I would disconnect.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
For a second.
I'm here.
Okay.
I was checking the results.
Yep. I'm a little bit. I really think that everything that's going on. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's a little bit of interesting reporting coming in from the Sean P. Diddy's trial.
Okay.
Defense and prosecution rest, but the Sean, his defense only presented a 30-minute case and calling no witnesses.
Okay, that's interesting.
He going to prison forever.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Senator Bill Cassidy.
Okay.
It was Senator Bill Cassidy. There you go.
Okay. Ow. Sorry. Something. You ever have the feeling like one of those times you feel like someone stuck a needle into you, but you can't.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Ugh. Oh,
we also have the first named tropical system of the Atlantic hurricane season.
Yep, named Andrea.
Yeah, isn't that Sajo's ex-girlfriend?
Oh, ouch.
Didn't you tell me that once, Sajo?
I don't know.
Sajo?
Yeah. I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Frodo, you there?
here.
Okay. Uh-oh. Maybe, hold on. Sajo, you're not muted, but it's possible Frodo may
Shit.
have... Yeah, Frodo, check
Oh,
check your
that's
check your check your audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
I realized I turned it off because
Oh.
I'm here.
but no.
All right. Yeah, but we have Andrea, but the good news is Andrea's staying out in the Atlantic. She's not going to give anybody any trouble unless you're riding on a ship.
Yeesh.
Maybe we should send you out on shift, Sajo.
Ha 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 ha.
What? You know, we can use the information. Plus, it'd be kind of a good uh way of having some on location uh coverage. Hurricane Andrea, a Beyond the Airwaves exclusive.
Yes, it does see, and it'll end up being depression.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we have that. I'm looking at. No. Carney says Trump is no longer interested in annexing Canada. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that too.
Well, let's see. Let's see. What was it? Trump said he was going to start any new wars. Well, so much for that idea. Thanks so much for
Right?
that idea. Not. Let's see. What else? Let's see. I don't. What is his obsession with getting the Nobel Peace Prize anyway?
He wants to be able to match or exceed Obama in every way.
Yeah. Well, his nomination got withdrawn anyway, so he's out of luck again. Oh, I don't know if you heard this. The Supreme Court passed down a ruling where Trump can basically deport people to different countries.
Which is annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The truth is, one, well, goes for the goose, goes for the gander. What goes for the goose, goes for the gander.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know, and Sajo, I hope I don't offend you when I say this, but you know, I'm really fucking pissed off at the Jews and the Muslims overseas because it's like their entire fucking thing is just a giant fucking uh sibling rivalry.
I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm to
I'm
that
tired.
point.
I'm tired of all of it.
Yeah.
But you want me to know? You want to know why I say that?
Why?
Because in the Bible, it says that Isaac was the one to be sacrificed to God by um by Abraham. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Quran, doesn't it say it was Ishmael?
Pretty much. Plus, they have this whole holiday about the, but instead of a human, they use animal for that
Hmm.
sacrifice day.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying? Um, it's basically who was the one that was going to be sacrificed? Was it is was it Isaac or was it Ishmael? That's all it
I
is.
had no idea clue on that, but my mom will tell me that, and then I'll get back to you on that because I totally forgot all about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, but that's what it is. The whole conflict between Jews and Muslims is just that.
Okay. Well, I found out something interesting just now. Um, a jury orders man to pay $500,000 for assaulting police officer who killed himself after Capitol riot. So,
Eesh.
so here's what happened. And this was yesterday. Federal jury on Monday awarded $500,000 to the widow and estate of a police officer who killed himself 9 days after he helped defend the U.S. Capitol from a mob of rioters, including a man who scuffled with the officer during the attack. The 8-member jury ordered that man, 69-year-old chiropractor David Walls Kaufman, to pay $380,000 in punitive damages and $60,000 in compensatory damages to Aaron Smith for assaulting her husband, Metropolitan Police Officer Jeffrey Smith, inside the Capitol on January 6, 2021. They awarded an additional $60,000 to compensate Jeffrey Smith's estate for his pain and suffering. The judge presiding over the civil trial dismissed Aaron Smith's wrongful death claim against Walls Kaufman before jurors began deliberating last week. U.S. District Judge Anna Reyes said no reasonable juror could conclude that Walls Kaufman's actions were capable of causing a traumatic brain injury leading to Smith's death. Walls Kaufman, who lived a few blocks from the Capitol, denied assaulting Smith. He says any injuries that the officers suffered on January 6 occurred later in the day when another rider threw a pole that struck Smith around his head. On Friday, the jury sided with Aaron Smith and held Walls Kaufman liable for assaulting her 35-year-old husband, an encounter captured on the officer's body camera. Aaron is grateful to receive some measure of justice, said David P. Weber, one of her attorneys. Walls Kaufman said the outcome of the trial is absolutely ridiculous. No crime happened. I never struck the officer. I never intended to strike the officer, he said. I'm just stunned. After the jury left the courtroom, Reyes encouraged the parties to confer and discuss a possible settlement to avoid the time and expense of an appeal or for the sake of finality. You guys settled, you can move on with your lives, the judge said. Wells Kaufman's attorney, Huey Hunt, described the jury's award as shocking. We're talking about a 3-second event, he told the judge. It's not shocking, Mr. Hunt. A lot of things can happen in 3 seconds, Reyes replied, and that's true. Jeffrey Smith was driving to work for the first time after the Capitol riot when he shot and killed himself with his service weapon. His family said he had no history of mental health problems before the January 6 riot. Aaron Smith claims Walls Kaufman struck her husband in the head with his own police baton, giving him a concussion and causing psychological and physical trauma that led to his suicide. The police department medically evaluated Smith and cleared him to return to full duty before he killed himself. In 2022, the District of Columbia Police and Firefighters Retirement and Relief Board determined that Smith was injured in the line of duty and the injury was the sole and direct cause of his death, according to the lawsuit. Walls Kaufman served a 60-day prison sentence after pleading guilty to a Capitol riot-related misdemeanor in 2023, but of course he was pardoned in January. On Donald Trump's first day back in the White House, the president pardoned, commuted prison sentences, or ordered the dismissal of cases for all of the nearly 1,600 people charged in the attack. More than 100 law enforcement officers were injured during the riot. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick collapsed and died a day after engaging with the rioters. A medical examiner later determined that he suffered a stroke and died of natural causes. Howard Levengood, a Capitol Police officer who responded to the riot, also died by suicide after the attack. Aaron Smith's quest isn't over. She applied for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial to add her husband's name as a line-of-duty death. Weber said they're hoping for a decision soon.
Here's what I think. Personally, I think any police officer who was involved in the January 6th riots needs to be fucking compensated hardcore, whether they're dead or alive. The family and the officers themselves need to be properly compensated for what the what Trump's people did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even going to say that it's bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
what do you think, Saj?
Oh, he's muted.
He's always
Oh,
muted.
Crazy.
yeah.
You're not crazy, but thing is, I have some update and breaking news involved with the
Okay.
mayor rates.
Okay.
Uh, uh, Breaking news, according to my local news, Pix 11, New York,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Cuomo conceded the race.
Ooh. Good.
So, yep,
Now,
Mandani is headed to win the mayor race.
okay. At least for the Democratic side, because I think there's
Yeah.
Yeah, because let me ask you this: in New York City, does Democrats and Republicans have their primaries on different days? Because
Yeah, probably they're on the same day.
oh, okay. Because I've only seen for the Democrats. I haven't seen anybody for Republicans. Is anybody? Oh, Craig. Oh, Craig's in the chat. Hello, Craig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Craig's up to no good.
But crazy part is that you got Republicans. Some Republicans are supporting Cuomo over Mandani because of being socialists.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Let's
yep. I've got the updated story right here, Shirley.
see. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Curtis Silva wins Republican primary for New York City mayor. Okay. And it's like, okay, there's Democrats, like, where's the Republican? Because as I was wondering, like, that's kind of weird. I see more about the Democrats and not a lot about the Republicans.
But you know, Cuomo. They said that Cuomo and Adams gonna run the independent line
Mm-hmm.
for the election in general in November. Maybe.
Yeah, but Curtis Sliwa, he is the founder of the nonprofit Guardian Angels. He ran unopposed.
Yeah,
Yeah, he took
sounds
that
about
out.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Took that loss.
Yep.
Because New York City is deep blue.
Mm-hmm.
New York City is so blue it makes blue look like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Got anything else, Shirley?
Not really. I just wish I could find that one thing I saw earlier on Facebook, but I can't find it now. Huh. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, what one thing I know is that Facebook had a massive glitch this morning
Hmm.
where a bunch of groups got restricted
Mm-hmm.
because of supposed uh what's it called? because of supposed violations, even though
Mm-hmm.
there weren't any violations.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm looking at down right now to see if anything's down.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing down right now on the internet.
Okay.
Although Sajo is still a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm still the pain in the ass.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I've never heard about this one. I think four billionaires got some sort of special military style ceremony, and all they were all named like I can't remember what the ranks were, but let me see if I can find that real quick. I know it. I remember that one. Aha, found it. Okay. Okay, so Army is bringing in big tech executives as lieutenant colonels. Now we're bringing in top tech executives from Meta, OpenAI, and Palantir as senior officers to be part-time advisors. Now, here's what's going on. 4 senior executives of tech giants, okay, are being sworn into the Army Reserve as direct commissioned officers of the unusually high rank of lieutenant colonel as part of a new program to recruit private sector experts to speed up tech adoption. The Army calls the program to recruit Silicon Valley executives Detachment 201, the Army's Executive Innovation Corps. One of the executives, Andrew Bosworth of Meta, formerly Facebook, posted on X that the 201 moniker was a nod to an HTTP coding command in which a 201 response indicates the creation of a new programming resource. The reserve's new lieutenant colonels are Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer for Palantir, Bosworth, Chief Technology Officer for Meta, Kevin Wheel, Chief Product Officer of OpenAI, and Bob McGrew, an advisor at Thinking Machines Lab and former Chief Research Officer for OpenAI. Each of the 4, who were set to be sworn in Friday, arrived with decades of experience in some Silicon Valley's largest and most innovative companies, with levels of extraordinary personal wealth that careers in the industry often amass. The Detachment 201 program is aimed at bringing in part-time advisors from the private sector to help the service adopt and scale commercial technology like drones and robots into its formations. The idea of incorporating private sector expertise is right out of Ukraine, and soldiers there who are engineers or computer scientists in their day jobs are MacGyvering makeshift drones or 3D printing parts to use on the front lines against Russia. Army officials say the new officers will get at least a taste of traditional Army training before filling their roles tech-focused policy advisors. Colonel Dave Butler, the spokesperson for Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, told Task and Purpose that the 4 executives will get up to 2 weeks of online and face-to-face training at Fort Benning, Georgia, on physical fitness, marksmanship, and basic soldier tasks such as Army customs and courtesies, rank structure, and uniform wear. The 4 will not attend the Army's full 6-week direct commissioning course at Fort Benning, a common but not universal training program for new officers. And I'm going to stop there because it's going to get way too long at this point. But I'm not going to lie. That's dumb. Four executives suddenly become lieutenant colonels?
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear, if my late father were still alive today, he would be furious. Because it took him 25 years to get to the rank of Senior Master Sergeant in the Air Force. If somebody tried, now I said this in a group. If someone asked me to take a military rank in a ceremony, I'd flat out turn it down for 2 reasons. It'd be an insult to my late father, and I would consider it stolen valor.
I would too. And to be frank, I'm going to say this. Anyone who thinks that they have the right to do this, you know what? I'm sick and tired of people besmirching our military.
Mm-hmm. Because I will say
You
this:
know,
my father served. My older nephew is serving. My brother has served. I mean, I've got a family in the military, but me, I have not served, so I should not be getting any type of rank whatsoever. If someone did that to me, it's like, I'd be insulting my late father and also be committing stolen valor. Forget it. Because that's just ridiculous.
Same.
all
I
right,
mean,
are you ready to hear something crazy?
yeah, go ahead.
If this is just to give a little bit of how can I say this? Levity to the end of the episode.
Okay.
Remember, if you were born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, and made it to 2025, you have lived in 5 different decades, 2 centuries, 2 different millenniums, and you're not even 50 yet.
Well, I just turned 50, so I'll be 51 pretty soon. Because I was born in 74. Yeah, I'm 50 right now, so I've been through 5 decades.
I was born '88, so
Yep. I was born in 74 on a military base in Okinawa, Japan, in the middle of a typhoon.
yep.
But see, here's the thing: a lot of people think, "Oh, are you Japanese?" No, my mother's Vietnamese. My late dad was American, so I'm actually Vietnamese American, even though I don't exactly look like it.
Shirley,
Yes,
does that still make you an American, native born American citizen?
I was naturalized in like 19. I think it was 78. I think.
I think you might be natural born though,
Yeah,
because you were
I was
born
born on a
a
military base. Yep. Oh, hold on. I want to know I won't be on for a while. My cat passed away and I'm just going to be offline for a while. Oh, sorry to hear that, Craig. Yeah.
Craig. You're nothing but trouble though.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta have love for those fur. Gotta have love for the fur babies. So. Yeah, but that's all right, Craig. Take as much time you need, because dogs, cats are four-legged friends. They're family too. I don't care what anyone says.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just a dog. They're not just a cat. They are not just a pet. For a lot of people, they are part of the family.
Yep.
So. But yeah. But Craig,
Oh,
love, thoughts, and prayers for you. All right, buddy. Don't worry.
Shirley,
Yes.
I gotta make a point right now
Okay.
so that everyone can understand. Everyone gets upset that there's gay pride, and they ask for why isn't there straight pride.
Frodo, can you speak up a little bit? I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it sounds like you sound like you're far away from the mic.
Hold on, let me make sure that my mic is set right.
Okay.
Give me one moment.
Okay.
Huh. Does that sound better?
Yes, much better.
Okay. So people who are straight always question why there isn't straight pride when there's gay pride. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
LGBT pride. There isn't straight pride because every day is straight pride. Being straight was never illegal.
Mm-hmm.
No one got kicked out for coming out straight. No one got jailed for being straight. No one has to come out as straight.
Yeah.
No one protests straight wedding.
Mm-hmm.
There is no straight conversion therapy. No one is killed for being straight. Straight hand holding is safe. No one asks if being straight is a phase. No one outed straight kids, and straight history is not being erased.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all valid reasons for there not being straight pride.
Yeah.
And in fact, I just posted this meme to my Facebook because it's true.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Well, just remember this, everybody. No matter what happens, just keep living your life the best you can.
Precisely.
Because
Hey, Shirley,
yes.
I'm going to bounce out. You go ahead and finish it.
All right. See you later, Frodo. All right. Anyway, of course, next show for us will be on Friday, and we'll be doing another round of Among Us. Since, like I said back yesterday, I took out rotten apples altogether because it's not that game to me is not worth it. So
Right on.
Yep. So we will.
And there were the offensive that I don't like as well.
Yeah.
It's for the best. And by the way, we're gonna suck the hell out of each other.
Yep. That's the fun. That's the fun part of Among Us. We get to suss the hell out of each other. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the ending. So hang on for 15 seconds. Alright, so with that in mind, I'm going to say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe, and we'll see you on Friday for Among Us. Peace.
Peace, everyone. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.